Mayor of North Providence is in the house. Lots to talk about tonight.
The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Never not easy for you to say. Never not provocative when Charlie Lombardi is in the house. He now is the president of the Rhode Island League of Cities and Towns, and so not only does he speak from his own now long-term experience in North Providence as a leader there, and he may never leave based on a story that I looked at this morning as I record this broadcast on Thursday. But he speaks for municipal leadership across the state, at least in general terms, on a couple of major issues that I think are worth sinking our teeth into this evening. So thanks very much for tuning in. Appreciate it. Yeah, the world is turning, and we're sending more money to Ukraine and more weapons, and we can never lose sight of the strife that this world is in and the victims, and always keep them in our hearts and our prayers. But today we'll focus on stuff of locale. I thought this was kind of interesting. The Republican candidate for governor is now kicking in some dough. I talked to you about this last week or 2 weeks ago, and every other day on WPRI, weekdays 3 to 6. Here's a headline that I think is kind of interesting. She's going to start airing her TV ads. So the state Republican Party, at least because they've got somebody who can reportedly invest in their own campaign, may have a player. Here's part of what she's running in terms of advertising.
The days of I know a guy are over. It works for the insiders, but it doesn't work for you. Rhode Island needs a fighter, now more than ever. And I'll fight to make Rhode Island a more affordable place to live, work, and raise a family. I will fight for parental involvement in education, and I will fight to end the scourge of addiction and to keep our neighborhoods safe.
I always get, there's two things about this that crack me up. First, the Noah guy theme. I have to tell you that it seems to be a worn out complaint. I know that there's this myth that we have kind of perfected, that you got to know a guy type of thing. Hey, and I have to tell you, it seems to be more myth than reality, at least in comparison to the rest of the world, where others also, believe it or not, outside Rhode Island complain that sometimes you got to know a guy to get things done. But only half tongue-in-cheek, let me suggest that in Rhode Island, if this myth is even true, if it's even true, I think most people aren't upset that you got to know a guy. They're mostly upset that they don't know a guy. So, I don't think this is a winning theme. And I do think it feels a little bit like album-oriented rock, and like it's kind of a classic political complaint. And I just don't think it brings the kind of traction that will win a race. But we shall see. As far as the other fight fors and fight fors and fight fors, all right, good for her. But again, the specifics, I mean, you can talk about concepts all you want, but how you get there from here is the key. Let me call an audible here and jump to my guest, Charlie Lombardi, and get his take. I mean, you're welcome, my friend. Good to see you.
Thanks for the invitation.
You're publicly supporting the current governor, correct?
I am.
Yeah. What's your take, though? I mean, you are one of the class. You're your own myth. People have so many thoughts about you. Your disposition, your style, are so classic. I have often said that you're the most honest politician who people think may not be. In the sense of, look, the way you go about and the way you communicate is rough, it's tough, it's no bull blank. But let's remember how you got here years ago when you won this mayoralty. You were a reform guy.
We were.
And for the most part, despite whatever wear and tear naturally comes with being an incumbent year after year after year, I think you're still understood to be a no-nonsense guy. So tell me about the Noah guy thing. Just give me your own theory on that. Let me not put words in your mouth.
I don't, listen, I know that.
Do you agree with me that it's more myth than reality?
It is. It is. And listen, this is Rhode Island, smallest state in the Union. You could go to Florida tomorrow and somebody says to you, where are you from? And you say Rhode Island. Oh, do you know Dan Yorke?
They all say that everywhere.
No, or you may go.
I know what you're saying.
And
I know what you're saying.
they may say to you, do you know Charlie Lombardi? I used to take my business to his dry cleaners, so to say. But I think that comes, you know, I don't buy into it, Dan.
Well, listen, the natural human condition is networking. And there seems to be this look, Buddy Cianci got arrested, others who went to jail for things that they should have done. There's a series of public officials over the course of time in Rhode Island who have been incarcerated for their behavior. I don't know that all of it fits into the Noah guy situation, but certainly, you know, Buddy had it perfected in terms of financial contributions. The Plunder Dome scenario, I think, really kind of highlighted all of that. There's a natural process there that has occurred in politics in America for time immemorial. I would think actually that some of the Plunder Dome-ish type of behavior has dissipated over time, if for only practical means to keep yourself out of the slammer, right? So, I don't know. Do you think this Noah guy thing sells, notwithstanding your support of Dan McKee, that people are going to gravitate to that kind of dialogue?
I think it may be a little old, and I think the thing in any elected official, for those that have had a problem, look, Dan, you can't forget where you came from. And if you continually remind yourself of that or not forget it, and you know you're bringing up, so to say, it'll keep you on that straight and narrow. If you're in this business to try to gain personally and even think about doing that illegally, then you deserve to get arrested.
What do you think about, since we brought it up, the governor's race and them at least having somebody who at least alleges that she's going to put $500,000 of her own money? This buy is $100,000. It's a step up in terms of financial investment in the campaign. What's your read?
I was never a supporter of a candidate solely on what they were going to spend on a campaign. And, you know, sometimes it's difficult to even digest the fact that I'm going to vote for you based on how much you spend on your campaign. But listen, everyone has the right to run, and I wish every candidate the best in their endeavor. I mean, I support Dan McKee.
Yes, yeah, and so do a lot of municipal leaders. Tell me about what you think the impact of the municipal leadership is going to be in this race on the Democratic side.
Well, I will tell you this, that we were forgotten under the previous administration, the mayors, managers, and administrators. And as soon as Dan McKee became the governor, the phones opened up. We have a conference call once a week. What do you think? What's going on? Here's what's going on our side of the table. We're involved. And, you know, Dan McKee, listen, he hits the ground running. He received those same phone calls that we get. Oh, by the way, my street's not plowed. He's dealt with people on a one-on-one. And as far as politics, what do they say? Oh, politics is local, Dan. And I think he hits the ground running. Good businessman, 100-year family business. Family man, I don't know that there's anyone better than him. So I think he hits the ground running. And by the way, as I said to you before, never, ever, ever will forget his roots.
All right. Very good. When we come back, let's dig into a couple of the issues that Charlie feels very strongly about, both as mayor and president of the League of Cities and Towns. Stay with us. Yeah, exactly. All right, we're back. Just a little small talk here during the break. Evergreen Contract for all Rhode Island Fire Police contested. Right now, we still have in the court system a little battle going on here from a couple of years ago when the legislature passed the Evergreen Contract, which simply, folks, is as simple as this. The current police and fire agreements that we have extend in perpetuity until a new contract is agreed to. I mean, that's the essence. There are nuances and some delicate details involved in it, but that's the essence of the situation. And 2 years ago, the legislature passed it. The League of Cities and Towns went to court to upend this whole thing based on management rights argument. It still sits in the court. Yet, as it still sits in the court, the state Senate, by a large majority last week, passed it again. And now the House of Representatives will have a decision to make on it. I don't know what the governor's position is. Do you?
We will be talking with the governor, and if the House of Representatives does support this, we're going to urge the governor not to sign this legislation. Look, Dan, as far as
there's a difference between not signing and vetoing. What do you want him to do?
Oh no, I think he needs to veto it.
Yeah. Well, look, again, based on our conversation in the last segment, his roots and his experience, I think they're probably orient him to the same concept. Being in the governor's seat can be a little bit of a different perspective. Give me the executive summary on why this contract is so insufferable for you, or this law is so insufferable.
I think automatic extension of a contract makes it so much more difficult for any elected official to sit at the opposite side of the table. We're in favor of contract continuation if we can agree. But what they're saying to us now is, you can sit at the table, but you don't have to agree. This is automatically going to be extended, this contract. Now, Dan, I was always of the mindset that when a contract is over, it's over. And let's start over. Right now, so they're saying, okay, you don't address the financial situation or give us more money. Let's talk about the cost. Let's talk about the health care. Health care increases, we got to sit at the table, and the taxpayers, it's not me, it's not the elected officials, it's the taxpayers that we're fighting for, have to pay in the end. And that's what bothers us, that when we're going to be told, you agree, well, nothing's going to happen.
The union's argument, and this is something we've gone over, for a long time here, because it's been a conversation for, it seems like all of my time here in Rhode Island, is that without that protection, guys like you could indiscriminately slash jobs, slash salaries, slash benefits, put a figurative gun to the head of the unions, police and fire, and really put them on their heels in an unfair way.
Well, first of all, I don't think that the legislature should interfere with the local contracts. I think that's...
well, we have a culture of state management of local doings
and
that far beyond this.
There's no doubt. And, there needs to be an expiration date, Dan. This cannot just be a contract that's going to last forever until we agree that the taxpayers need to pay more. I just don't think it's fair. I don't think.
But you understand what? I mean, listen. The two sides of the argument are: the union says, "Look, I mean, we could have indiscriminate cuts, and that would be unfair." On your side of the aisle, not to make the argument for you, but to kind of cough up this concern that you guys have, you're concerned that they could just sit on their rear ends in perpetuity, especially if we're hitting a down economic cycle where you might have to make some adjustments, not draconian but necessary and practical, and they just sit there and say, well, we're good.
We're okay.
We're good. Status quo is fine for us because we don't like where the tea leaves are being read.
And in the meantime, your health care is increasing. You have other costs that are increasing, and they continue to enjoy the uniform allowance and all of the other perks that they're receiving at the cost of the taxpayer. That's the problem right there. contract extensions without concessions, it's difficult.
They feel like that you can act kind of arbitrarily here. I would submit that the management has a reporting responsibility to the taxpayers. If you indiscriminately cut police and fire, if you let personnel go, if you close fire stations, and you've had a reorg in fire that has turned out to be actually magnificent in your town. I mean, you're one of the highest rated fire departments in New England with your certifications and all that. The unions forget, I think, that you have to answer every couple of years to the constituents about what you've done. What do you think, what's the tea leaf, using the term again, here in the House of Representatives? Are you as concerned about that body as the Senate just kind of laid down for the unions on this one?
I'm not as concerned. I think the Senate has more of that whole hold, or the unions have more of a hold on our Senate members and leaders of the Senate. I don't think that's the situation in the House of Representatives. And our job as the league need to make sure that our reps understand how this is going to affect theirs and our constituents and taxpayers.
Right. Now, you have a situation in North Providence. So that conversation about the Evergreens is not only your concern as a mayor in North Providence, but as a leader of the League of Cities and Towns. This particular one is also kind of connected, but you've got your own homegrown situation. Matt, if you can throw up that Valley Breeze headline. This is a conversation about Lombardi says police can't pick and choose details. I'm not sure whether I guess that is regarding the story that I'm talking about, but there's a police officer, and I'm not going to name him here, that has had some 97 infractions over the course of his tenure, and you think he's got to go.
I do.
And you think the LEOBOR, the protection for police, is so prohibitive that it hasn't allowed you to do what management should do, and that is to take action. I think it's lopsided.
Yes.
By the way, LEOBOR is an acronym for Law Enforcement Officers' Bill of Rights. There's actually an op-ed piece in the Thursday Providence Journal that was written by a former Cranston police chief today. I don't know if you read it,
sure,
who suggests that this whole discussion is really about more or less you and your complaint about one guy. Give me the soups and nuts about this.
By the way, and the chief and his staff wrote this fellow up, 97 complaints or charges. In the end, he was convicted or was found guilty of 79 of those infractions. The problem we have is that when you set up this committee, the troubled officer gets representation, the town police department has representation. Now you have to agree on a neutral, and this is the problem. If you can't agree on a neutral, then it goes to the Superior Court judge, and he or she will choose a neutral for you from two different lists: a list provided by the police chiefs and or a list provided by the union. In our situation, we happen to draw the short straw. The neutral was chosen from the union's list, and it happened to be a lieutenant in another department, East Providence Police Department. Now, this fellow agreed that 79 of these charges that this officer was guilty, but didn't have the backbone to support our police chief.
These are administrative charges, not criminal charges. Right. Okay.
Didn't have the backbone to support our police chief in wanting this fellow terminated. Instead said, we'll demote this fellow.
So I only have a minute here. Is this a one-off, or listen, there are a lot of chiefs of police that would like to be able to publicly explain whether there's been some short-term discipline for an officer. That's prohibited under the LEOBOR.
Yes.
The Police Chiefs Association does believe that changes need to be made in this whole thing. What's your perspective from the league's perspective about how any change possibility could be coming in this legislative session?
I think you're going to see some movement. There was supposed to be a hearing before a committee last Wednesday. It got postponed because there's negotiations going on. Bottom line is, to me, it's the problem is the neutral. Maybe retired judges should be the neutral.
I see.
You can't have the fox watching the hen house.
Right.
It doesn't work.
We'll leave it there. A couple of quick questions for the mayor, and we'll be out of time. Stay with us. Only a minute here. I saw this Boston Globe piece previewing an interview you were going to do with Ed Fitzpatrick. I didn't know you voted for Donald Trump twice.
I did.
Would you vote for him again?
Probably not.
Thank you. Thought maybe you lost your mind.
No.
I understand why you'd vote for him the first time. Why'd you vote for him the second time?
I just thought that, listen, I thought Donald Trump did the right thing the wrong way. By the way, good business sense. He never made as much money when he was the president. So, that being said, there's a lot of people out there that gave him a vote then, but do not have the backbone to tell you that they voted for him. I can't lie to you.
But you wouldn't vote for him again?
Probably not.
We have some tough choices.
Oh,
Yeah. You're not a Joe Biden fan right now.
no, absolutely not.
We'll leave it there. By the way, speaking of politics, you're going to go another 4 years? When are you up?
2 more.
Yeah.
2 more years. Dan, listen.
You're the youngest 76-year-old guy I know.
I have a good time what I do. I still go to my businesses at 5:30 in the morning, and I think that's what helps me have the ability to manage the town in the way that we have. You
So
come here with business sense, common sense, which you can't teach. And then if you got a little street sense, it's over.
You still love it.
I do.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. Thank you, my friend. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Final word when we come back. Those of you who think you may want to upend the administration in North Providence, you got some work to do, because something tells me that Charlie's going to be around for a long time. Lots to talk about this week. The political heat is obviously starting to bubble up in the governor's race. I think more Democrats will start to invest in their campaign too, and we'll have plenty to say and talk about on WPRI weekdays 3 till 6. You have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.